What's going on, guys? So today on this Shoky Transformers review, we're going to take a look at the first of the Power of the Primes Dinobots. And by first, I mean the first one I've got. And it is, of course, their version of Swoop. You guys know I love me some Dinobots, obviously. And because these are the first official real G1-esque Dinobots we've gotten in a very long time. And they combine. I kind of needed to get them. Now, it's getting a little harder to find them on the shelves, but I was lucky enough to pick them all up at Toys R Us so far. But we'll look at him in just a second, because first we need to look at his packaging. And you do get the little plastic prison right here. But if you come up to the top, you do get all the nice fancy artwork. You got Swoop there. You got all the little Prime symbols floating around them, because that's what happens. Generations logo there. Transformers logo right here. Power of the Primes. You got an image right there of Swoop that absolutely does not look like him, because red and clear, just whatever. Dinobot Swoop, Deluxe Class, Classe Deluxe, Classe de Lujo, and Classe Deluxe. And then age 8+, hey, I'm right in the middle of that. Come to the bottom, nothing important. Come around the back, and you get a fast little read up there. How will the fearsome Dinobot Bombardier wield Power of the Primes? Who knows? Power of the Primes, choose Prime. And then you could stick a Prime in his face. Not really in his face, but close. And once again, the artwork shows him with a red chest, which is G1 toy accurate, but it clearly doesn't come that way. But you've got Micronus, Vector Prime, and Liege Maximo. So that's the three Prime Masters that we've got currently. The rest of the 12, I guess, will come out at another time. Speaking of which, if you turn it right here, you can actually see little embossed versions of all the Prime symbols. So yay for that. Throw the packaging away. There we go. And we'll come back down and pull the little Swooper Master here. And yeah, it is definitely a G1 type Swoop. So you've got the blue chest, you got the red kind of back of the head going on here. The only thing that bothers me is the sheer amount of black on him. It makes him look very, very dark. But I guess if they didn't go with that, then he would look very, very gray. But the main thing, at least in my opinion, seems to be missing from the figure is the chrome wings that like every single version of Swoop ever tends to have. Other than that, I really do dig him. The blue is incredibly vibrant. You got some stickers right there, some nice silver, some nice yellow or gold. Coming close on that face. A little hard to see, but he does actually have painted blue eyes. Big old Autobot emblem right up front on the chest. And for some reason, green on the hand. No idea what's up with that. And if you come over here, you have the big old Prime armor on this hand. And we'll take that off for the time being. We do also have his sword. And it is a translucent piece painted red. Except for the tabs that will go into things. Yay, I guess. And I haven't figured out, but I'm thinking the small tabs go there. He doesn't have a small tab hole anywhere else on his body except right here on his hips. And I don't understand what that's all about. But, yep, that's that. Whoa, hey, I'm just throwing the thing. Now go ahead and take a look at the Prime armor first before we get into articulation and stuff. And yeah, it's the same kind of thing we got with Combiner Wars, where it's a hand and it's a gun, and now it's technically an armor and all the things. So you got big old spikies right here. You got the big clear piece, which is in fact molded to be a little handgun. Really hard to see, but it's actually got a lot of molded detail. I honestly think I might go ahead and spray paint these like a gunmetal gray or something like that instead of the clear, just to make it look like it. And you can hold this just like any other gun, which is what they're trying to do. So this gave you like a little crappy filler, let's be honest here, for where the Prime Masters should go. Right up in there. And because it is supposed to be armor, you can totally just slap it on his body where... No, just kidding. Now, you can do two things. You can... Actually, technically, you do three things. You can plug it in on the forearm like I had, and you can have it as a shield. And it's an incredibly bulky, huge shield. Or, if you really want to use your imagination, like a little chitlin, use your little chitlin imaginations, And you can have a gun. Go ahead and fold these down. And it looks like a big old gun. Actually, it looks kind of like thrusters there, so, or whatever. Beam emitters. It's a beam emitter. That's what it do. So you can be shooting all over the place. Because that's one thing he doesn't come with. He doesn't actually come with a gun other than this. And he's also lacking his wing pods, his wing missile pods that are like Swoop, like just standard equipment. Now he does have one other placement for this, and it is actually as a backpack. And this is, if I choose to display him in this mode at all, is how it's going to be. So you've got the big 5mm peg. You just go ahead and fold that around. And you have the tabs right here. You've got slots on the backs of the wings. I will say he falls over pretty well. Just tab that in very nicely, like so. And there you have it as a backpack. That actually kind of helps. I like that it builds out the body a little bit. And just to show that it can hold something, here is Hot Rod's head. Because this can hold Prime Masters, it can hold Titan Masters, whatever. So now you can have Hot Rod's head on the backpack like you're delivering it to somewhere, somehow. Yay. Go ahead and get rid of this. Let's look at articulation. Head is mounted, I believe it could just be a ball joint, or just a, I don't think it's a ball joint, but it's probably like a swivel at least, so he can turn. No real up and down, just a tiny bit, if that. This is actually nicely painted. It's good to see Hasbro getting back to using paints. You do, of course, straight up ball joint mounted shoulder, so it can go all the everywhere. And you do get swivel for bicep. You get slightly ratcheted single jointed elbow. And I mean slight. I mean, if it's got enough, you can see it's grooved for ratchets, but it may not even be. And you have a little bit of wrist flip for transformation purposes. Now, you can actually rotate him at the waist. You just have to pull the nose up just a little. It's got a little bit of spring to it. Okay, so if you bring it out, you can rotate him at the waist. But, of course, that actually is supposed to tab in. You got T-mounted ball joints for hips, just basically like the arms. Rotation there. Single joint knee there. And if you come down to the bottom, you actually do get a nice little flipper for the feet. That's pretty good. And actually has some pretty good wide feet. I actually appreciate that because it keeps him from toppling over just from weak ankles. That's always a good thing. Now you can, of course, flip his wings out if you really want to. You can go full-on Batman Beyond and have those shooting straight out like so. I like to have them. You can see there's a little bit of a notch right here. Goes right in there. So if you want them straight out, you can totally do it that way. Or if you fold it in nice and clean, like so. And you can move them a little bit in this mode. So as I was playing with it the other day, where he's like really cold, you know, he's covering himself in his wings, like so. Now, I don't like that these don't flip either. I don't like them swinging this way. I would much rather them be on another hinge. That's just me. That's just the way Swoop is usually portrayed, and that's the way I would prefer it to be. Now, since we have him in robot mode, before we transform him, let's bring out some comparisons, because we have a few swoops now. We have all the swoops. Well, a good amount of swoops. Okay, straight out your arms. There we go. So we're going to take a look at what we looked at last go around. The DX9 Bombardier, Skyer. I call it a Bombardier. This is Bombardier. This is just a Skyer. And you can see this is a deluxe class. Or sorry, this is a deluxe class. This is supposed to be a Legends class, even though it's a bit big. But you can see it's not a huge size difference realistically. And then we'll bring out the first big ol' swoop. We got the Planet X Kalis. And yeah, a little bit bigger. So he's somewhere in between the Planet X scale and the DX9 scale. Though these, I believe, are probably a lot closer together in a lot of aspects. But, you know, it's pretty cool that I finally actually have multiple sets of Dinobots going on now. Alright, so Swoop out of there. Oh, and I totally forgot. They all come with cards. I normally don't care about these things at all. But each one of these does come with a different Prime Master gimmick, quote unquote. So you got the repeat of the box art there. Looks pretty cool. Dinobot Swoop, Power of the Primes, orange thingy, because also color coded. You got Power of the Primes, Quintus Swoop. Seeds prehistoric life across the universe. So Quintus Prime was the one who could make life happen. So you combine that power with Swoop, and you can do that. Yay for that. That's actually a pretty heavy card. I'll give him credit. Go over there with your box. Now to get Lord Swoopsville into Dino mode. Go ahead and remove his weapons. It'll get out of his hand. Go ahead and remove the Prime armor. We'll tuck away the hands. Well, let's set the prime stuff. Set your prime stuff out of the way there, Swoopy. There we go. Yep, you want to fold the hands away like so. You want to fold the dino head up, as, well, you always do. Go ahead and unfurl the wings. You can take the arms and rotate them like so. You got big tab right there. It goes into a corresponding slot on the hips. Tab that in there. Do the same thing on the other side. This one's always been slightly misaligned for me. A little more effort to get it in there. Now you want to take the head and pull it out on this extra hinge, like so. Come to the back. You want to actually leave the wings just like this. I was thinking they needed to fold in, but they don't. Alright, so for the back, you want to take the feet, just fold them up. Kind of tab all these together. You'll see all these tabs here and corresponding holes on that side. Just do what you can to tab them all together. You want to use the legs, use your hips, use your knees, and fold the whole dude over. You've got slots here and corresponding T-shaped tabs there, and I'm running into the back of his head. But go ahead and do that, and you've got him pretty much in dino mode. But of course his feet are in the weirdest possible position, because I don't know about you, but I love keeping my my legs on my back. So bring these down, they'll tab in loosely to the thighs, and then you've got little painted red dinosaur feet hanging out like so. Now in dino mode, this is actually probably one of the closest to a G1 approximation that we've gotten in a long time, guys. So he looks pretty cool, though, as kind of per usual, the head doesn't like to stay together. His articulation is a little bit more limited now because obviously he's only got these little dino mode feet hanging out, which once again don't want to tab in, but they have a hinge, so you can get him to sit virtually flat, or in flying mode you can have them back like so. So he's like, woo. But if you do want to go into sitting mode, you can totally take his wings, fold them in, and didn't mean to untab that, and then you can flip the dino head forward. I keep wanting to rotate it here. That's not where it rotates. So he can go into almost like a gargoyle mode. But of course, the mouth does open. I say of course, I always expect it. The mouth does open like so. It does have teeth in there, and this is where you can really see how the gold paint on the inside of the clear plastic works for the G1 kind of look. He does have the red painted eyes like all the rest of them have had. It's pretty cool. Very, very similar to a lot of G1 looking swoops. You do have the red on the sides of the backpack. Honestly, there's not a whole lot of anything new. It's just basically you just compact and unfold at the same time. Now, weapon-wise, you can take his sword, and I totally forgot this before, but his sword can plug into his jaw, so you can fly around and stab everything he's flying into. Or if you're willing to get weird, you could totally plug it in down here, and that doesn't get weird at all. If you had two swords, like you really should, that would be cool, but, you know, it is what it is. You can't use any of the ports because they're up here. The hands are also folded away nicely, so you can't do anything with that. However, you do have the prime armor. That is the dumbest thing ever. And you can make it, you know, part of the backpack. So you've got a couple slots there. You got a couple big tabs here, which, by the way, you have Titan Master pegs all over the back of this guy. So you can put Titan Masters everywhere for some reason. Now, I think, more or less, if you put it on this way, you kind of get a thruster pack. So he can totally do that if you really want your Pteranodon to just have all the butt in the world. If you like big butts on your Pteranodon and you cannot lie about it, this is what you do. So, yay for that. And of course, for comparison, now that he's in Dino mode, we'll bring in DX9 Swoop. And you can see they're almost the same size in Dino mode. Backpack is a little bit bigger, wingspan, little bit bigger head, honestly, very close to the same size. But of course, you get the nice chrome wings on this guy. Oh, stop doing that. The double not quite neck on that thing really is annoying. So we'll take out the DX9. We'll bring in Planet X. And you can tell it's just a little bit bigger. It looks pretty cool though. Except it doesn't want to stay in a sitting position. Nice. And of course, this guy being a combiner does have combine mode. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull off the prime armor and just set it aside. We ain't gonna need it for now. Now he's got two different modes. They can all be kind of Scramble City. They can all be arms and legs. So we're gonna go ahead and fold the dino feet back like so. We're gonna go ahead and pull the legs off the back, and we'll put them into arm mode first because that is the easiest mode. The thing that keeps popping off, we're going to go ahead and pop it loose. Flip up the combiner peg. We're going to make him a left arm. The wings tap down. And you have a tab on the arm, and you have a corresponding slot there. Do that. And do that. Actually, nope. I had it wrong. Okay, so undo that. Sorry, you have to shift the arms. Rotate the bicep. You have another tab here, and you have a slot on the side. I forgot. Go ahead and do it this way. I mean, it would almost work that way, except you wouldn't have the hips unlocked. I believe for leg mode, that is what would do. Now, if you have the wings all the way down, they will hit the arms, so you want to have them out just enough so you can squeeze everything together, kind of like so. Now, this, for the most part, is pretty much ready to go, and it just kind of let itself go. So make sure all of that is tabbed in solidly, especially down here, where there's obviously a mold issue because this thing tilts inward. I think it's supposed to do that, but it does not actually want to tab together very well at all. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, honestly. It's about as good as it gets, and that's Swoop in his arm mode. And you got the hips that can twist up here. You have the knees that can work, and that is still not staying together. Like I said, these feet are like not right. Oh, by the way, I guess I can use the prime armor, put it into hand mode. So grab the tabs here, pull out the fingers, take the bottom thumb, just rotate it like so, take the top thumb, just flip it down like that, grab the peg, flip it out, and go ahead and plug it in like so. You can either do it this way and have it straight up and down like so, or you can turn it however you like. Turn it this way, get the wrist here so you can actually use the quote-unquote elbow. Now, I don't really like it in this mode. I actually prefer it in the stubby arm mode. Now, the other thing you can do, you can also flip the bird head up like so, and just have them facing that way. It's all on how you want to do it. Guess I can tilt this up a little bit, give myself some more room to work. Now the other thing you can do, like I said, is you can shorten up the legs. Go ahead and basically transform it back into backpack mode. Come on. Like so. Come on. Come on. Like so. And that actually, everything holds together very well. Plug that back in, and you have a much stubbier arm, but it's not hollow. I actually really do like this better. And you can rotate it. You still have an elbow. It's not ridiculous, but it does still function. So I appreciate that. And of course, he has a leg mode. That's actually pretty much this. So you put the peg up to the top. Yep, this is where you want the arms down at the side. Instead, so you can lock those legs together. And I actually kind of prefer him in leg mode, personally. Tab those shoulders back together. So go, there it goes. And because now the arms are out of the way, you can fold the wings away a little bit better. Come on, there it goes. And this doesn't function as a foot, but just kind of pretend that it is. Here, let's really pretend it's a foot. So there you go. And then that'll go up in there. Now, if you have any of the other Combiner Wars or anything like that, it will totally work. It's just the Combiner Wars peg totally functions as it should. But that's pretty much it for the Swoop review, guys. I think these things are about $17 thereabouts. I think that's a pretty fair price for what they are. And, you know, I do like it to a degree. Now we'll have to wait a little bit till I get all the way through the Grimlock review to actually start seeing the full-on combine mode. But guys, if you really need to have these, if you don't have a good Generations kind of version of your Dinobots in your collection, I'd say go ahead and get these. The price is pretty good, and at least on this guy, it's actually the least offensive. So go right ahead and pick one of these up. I'll catch you guys on the next review. I want to thank my patrons, as always. John, Andy, Steve, you guys are great. And if you're new here and you like what I'm doing, make sure you give me a like and subscribe, please. And remember, as always, guys, keep on swooping, even as an arm. An arm leg thing. Just keep swooping. Swoop, 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 swoop.